Welcome back, everybody. Today I'm excited to bring you the Turret 300-meter Diver GMT. In MMI's words, experience the depths, explore the globe, unleash dual functionality with our Dive and GMT watch, seamlessly merging precision beneath the waves with global versatility in a single timepiece, your ultimate companion for every adventure. But I would just say this is a really cool watch. MMI is a underrated brand. Absolutely. I don't think they get enough credit, and I've said it before and I'll say it again. And they do have a really cool trick, which I'm going to show you in a second. I'm going to bring you a quick review. I'm going to give you everything you need to know to make a decision if this is a watch for you. I'm going to give you all the info that you need as quick as I can, as succinctly as possible. So let's get to it. All right, let's start with price. This watch is $399 US before April 15th. After that, it goes up $70. So get that order in ASAP if you want one. Specifications on this are 40 millimeters in diameter, 47 millimeters lug to lug, 13.6 millimeters thick with that sapphire crystal. The sapphire crystal is AR coated, and it's a 3 millimeter thick sapphire. The case is 316L surgical grade stainless steel, as you find in most quality watches these days. It has a 120 click unidirectional bezel. The bezel insert is made of ceramic, and it's really nice to look at. It has Swiss Super Luminova C3 grade X1, and let me tell you, this thing really glows. It has a full lume dial. Wait till you see it. At the end of the video, I'll throw up a lume shot. It's fantastic. The dial is described as a horizontal brushed dial. The hands and indexes are coated with Swiss Super Luminova as well. The movement is an NH34, a really solid Seiko-made movement. And this has a water resistance of 300 meters, as you probably guessed by the name of the watch. The crown is screwed down, it's signed, and it's lumed. And of course, on the case back, we'll see that it is a screw down case back, keeping that 300 meters of water tightness. If you're familiar with MMI watches, then you're going to be fairly familiar with this case. It is a 40 millimeter case, but it has a lot of wrist presence, and it feels fairly heavy on the wrist, but not in a bad way, just enough to let you know that it's got some presence. This review model has some scuffs on the side, as you can see. MMI does a great job with their finishing. The brushing on the lugs with polishing on either side of the lug looks really, really well done. Just that little bit of polish gives it just a little bit of play in the light on what is a fairly overall brushed, everyday kind of watch. The H-Link bracelet is also fully brushed, and it looks really nice. It's got a fairly simple clasp to it, with a number of micro adjusts, which is good. It is signed with the MMI logo as well, and it does have screw links, which I know that people really appreciate these days. I don't mind push pins as long as there's no collars, but screw links are good as well, so long as you keep an eye on them to make sure they don't back out. This is going to remind you sort of like a samurai, a Seiko samurai, but I would say that if this reminds you of samurai, think of a samurai that's been refined. The bezel is a little thin, and with gloves on, very hard to turn, but without gloves on, not a problem at all. Everything lines up the way it should on this watch. No Seiko misalignments for MMI watches. Taking a closer look at the dial, we have really nice applied markers for the hours. Crisp printing on that beautiful blue dial. The hands are nicely outlined with a little bit of interest with that crossbar in the middle. They're a great length, perfect for the proportions of this watch. I like the use of orange around the perimeter of the chapter ring as well at the 5 and 7 and 9. It adds just a little bit of interest to the watch, and of course works with the GMT printed at 6 and the date wheel, which is in orange. Speaking of that date wheel, that is such a cool feature. I love to watch it go around and around when I set the watch. It's just a little bit of fun to be had with your watch. And of course that GMT in orange ties everything together. A beautifully well done dial, very balanced, There's a lot going on, but I really, really like it. Now, one improvement that MMI Watches has made over some previous iterations is that some of them had the date wheel backwards. It sort of started at 31 and worked its way around to 1, whereas now we see that it's not that case anymore. It looks a little bit better this way, I think, in my opinion, although the other way didn't bother me a whole lot. I knew from the comments section in previous videos that it drove a lot of you crazy. With female end links, this watch is going to wear really well on a lot of wrists. For those of you with larger wrists, because of the 22mm lugs, it does have a bit of a chunkier vibe to it, which means that it has a little more wrist presence than your average everyday 40mm watch. The crown is almost 7mm, and it is easy to operate. It screws down nicely, which I like quite a bit. Taking this out into some natural light, you can see that it is sized a little tight for my 8.5-inch wrist, but it does wear really well for a 40mm watch, and that is mainly due to that lug width of 22mm and the shape of the case. Okay, so what are two things that I like and don't like? I like that GMT hand, the orange and the blue. The colorway that was chosen is fantastic. I like that a lot. Second thing I like is that date wheel. I don't know, maybe I'm just a big kid, but it really fascinates me. Two things that I don't like. I wish it were just a little bit thinner. I wish it just a little more svelte would be nice on this watch, but it's by no means a deal breaker. And I know that they love this aesthetic, but I would go with a slimmer 20mm bracelet, shrink it down just a little bit, and I think 20mm would just make this feel a little bit more refined, but I know that's not the aesthetic they're going for, so I completely understand the choice. Now, let's turn off the lights and show you the lume. That lume is fantastic. You tell me, is this the watch for you? Leave a comment down below. What do you think of this watch? Will you be picking one up? Do you think it's a good value? Do you know about MMI watches? I hope you do. If you don't, keep an eye on them because they do great stuff. Thanks to MMI for loaning this one into the channel, and thanks to all of you for watching. Have a great day.